You wake up at 7:30 a.m. You're in your own bed, but the room smells like wood smoke and cider. You see Kirishima asleep in the chair, and Bakugo staring out your window. The hero mask is off. They aren't going to let you go to class until you tell them what you were scared of in the gym. But you weren't sure how you were going to explain the pressure of keeping up with two of the strongest students in Class 1A. The UA training hall at 3 a.m. has a particular kind of silence, not peaceful, but hollow, the kind that swallows the sound of rigid breathing and the dull thud of tired fists against the practice dummies. It swallows the way your knees hit the mat, too, when they finally give out beneath you, sometime around 2:47. You don't mean to fall asleep. You never do. You just sit down, for a second, back against the base of the weight track, towel draped over your shoulders, and water bottle tipped on its side next to your thigh. You tell yourself you rest your eyes for 5 minutes. The fluorescent lights hum overhead. Your body, finally given the permission of stillness, takes the rest of the decision out of your hands entirely. Bakugo finds you at 3:12. He isn't supposed to be awake. He is supposed to be in bed with his mandatory 8 hours, like the rational disciplined hero in training he is. But the other side of the mattress had been cold for too long, and he'd woken up reaching for you out of habit before his brain caught up with the reality that you weren't there again. He doesn't say anything when he pushes open the gym door and sees you. For a moment, he just stands in the doorway with his arms crossed, jaw tight, the faint orange glow of the exit sign turning the planes of his face into something sharper than usual. He looks at the scattered equipment around you, the resistant bands, the chalk marks on the floor, the worn patches on the training dummy's torso that you made yourself. He looks at you, head lolled against your shoulder, mouth slightly parted, a bruise forming along your forearm. Again, he thinks. The word sets heavy. He hears footsteps behind them before he smells the faint cedar of Kirishima's shampoo. I woke up and you were gone. Both of you. Kirishima says quietly, coming up to stand beside him, and then he sees you, and whatever accusation he was building dissolves. Oh. Yes. Bakugo's voice is low. That's the right reaction, I guess. Kirishima moves past him into the gym, crouching down a few feet away from you, close enough to see the dark circles under your eyes, even in sleep. His brow pulls together, not angry, just worried, in that wide open way that Bakugo had always envied and never admitted to. She's been doing this all week, Kirishima murmurs. I know. She didn't tell us. I know that too. Kirishima looks over his shoulder. There's something unspoken in the look we should have noticed sooner, and Bakugo receives it without flinching, even though it lands like a hit. He crosses the room and crouches down beside you. Up close, the bruise on your forearm is worse than it looked from the door. He looks at it for a long moment, and then at your face. The tension finally smoothed out of it, the way it never quite is when you're awake, and pushing yourself past every reasonable limit. I'll carry her, he says, not a question. I've got longer arms. I said I'll carry her, shittier. Kirishima just doesn't argue anymore. He steadies your water bottle upright, gathers your towel, and moves to stand, while Bakugo gets his arms underneath you. one behind your knees, one across your back, and lifts you with a practiced ease that comes from months of training together. From knowing exactly how much you weigh, how you shift when you're unconscious, how your head falls naturally against the curve of his shoulder, like it was made to rest there. You don't wake up. Baku exhales through his nose, something complicated moving through his expression before it locks back into its default scowl. She trains harder when she's scared, Kirishima says softly, falling into step beside him as they move into the corridor. I know why she does it. Bakugo, I said I know. A pause. His grip on you tightens slightly, just at the edges. Doesn't mean I have to like it. They walk the quiet halls back toward the dorms, your room close enough to theirs that it has become an unspoken geography. This triangle of doors. Kirishima holds yours open. Bakugo sets you down in your bed with more gentleness than anyone who didn't know him would believe him capable of. And you shift, exhale, settle without ever breaking the surface of sleep. He stands there for a moment. Go back to bed, Kirishima says behind him. Aizawa does early checks. A beat. Yeah, he does. They look at each other across the dark room, you between, in the bed, breathing slow and even, the bruise on your arm already starting to purple at the edges, and reach the same conclusion without a word spoken. Kirishima pulls the chair from your desk and sets it beside the door. Bakugo leans against the wall beside your window, arms crossed and facing the hallway. At 5:40 a.m., Aizawa's footsteps come down the corridor. They stop outside your door. There's a pause, the kind that means he's checking, and then Bakugo speaks. She's in there. She's fine. She was in by midnight. The lie comes out clean. I can vouch. Another pause. Can you? Yeah. Kirishima says nothing. He meets Aizawa's gaze through the cracked door with every ounce of earnest, unshakable conviction he has, which is considerable. Aizawa looks between them for a moment. His expression doesn't change. It never does. I'll be having a conversation with all three of you about sleep schedules and more, he says finally. Looking forward to it, Bakugo says, in a tone that suggests the opposite. The footsteps move on. They don't speak. Kirishima tips his head back against the wall, and Bakugo lets out a breath so slow it's barely audible. Inside the room, you sleep. Thank you guys for listening. I hope you like this video. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share, and goodbye.